Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. StrangeNet here. So today CCP has just dropped a new dev blog, and my word, is it a dev blog and a half. This has got graphical changes, it's got Pocos changes, it's got Battleship changes, it's got mining changes, it's got Oracle changes, you name it, it's got it, and most of it is positive. So it was definitely needed. I think people have been hit with the stick long enough. We needed some positive changes and to shake things up a bit, and this patch is, my word, definitely gonna do that. So let's get into it. So I'm not going to read the blog out to you. You can read it yourselves. I'm just going to cherry pick and go over some things that I think are particularly important. First and foremost is the Battleship change. Now this is quite a biggie. I'm looking forward to this. Everybody loves the Battleship, putting the battle back in ship, and we have armor plates increasing by 50% in EHP and shield extenders by 100%. Now that is obviously quite massive. I don't think we've had a change in shields and armor since, I think it was about 2008, 2009. And I remember at the time they didn't want to do it too much because low-sec battleships could have been an issue. But I think nowadays, with the advent of more dreads and titans about, they've decided that they can now do this without it being too oppressive. They're also changing some of the fittings as well, so the micro jump drive will have its fitting substantially reduced, which should make fittings a little bit easier on the ships, because some of them do, when you're trying to pack them out with the larger weapon systems, do struggle in regards to fittings. So hopefully that should make things a little easier, whether they'll go a little bit more in regards to working some of the like the 1400 guns for Minmatar. Again, you fit a rack of them on a ship and it can be quite hard to fit. So I don't know whether they're going to do anything with that, but at the moment obviously the micro jump drive is going to be reduced to help. And again, I don't see this having an absolutely massive effect. The problem with battleships a lot of the time is mobility, and again, in a situation, they're great for defending when you don't have to move a great deal, but basically if you're attacking and things start going south, it's really hard to get your battleship fleet out in a really effective manner where you can do that with hacks, which is why hacks have been so prevalent for the last forever, because basically their mobility makes them incredibly versatile. They walk fast, they move fast, they can reposition, and they can get out if things start to go bad. Where if you rock up to someone's system with a bunch of battleships and all of a sudden you're outnumbered, you're pretty much gonna struggle to get them out of there, and that probably means your whole fleet is gonna die. So again, for defensive, I can see this having a huge effect. How much of effect it will have on attacking remains to be seen, but any kind of buff to battleships is definitely welcome, and I look forward to that. So the next update is to a surgical strike, and with this, they 2 years ago made resistance modules less resistant, and they are upping them by, I think it's 50% to what they lost. So in the middle, this is quite a big change. This will add quite a lot of effective EHP to ships, meaning that they're able to tank longer, get more reps, and will be alphaed quite as easily off the field. And this will have a knock-on effect as well for battleships, obviously with the new plates, and that means they'll have even more effective EHP. And for smaller ships as well, for abyss runners, for mission runners, burners, everything across the board, basically your ships will be 50%, I won't say 50% more tanky, but basically will have 50% extra resists on top of their current resists. So that works out potentially to 2, 3, 4%, depending, which is massive when all said and done. So all in all, this will allow ships to stay on the field, to engage in PvP that little bit longer without being alphaed off the field or paying horribly for that tiny little mistake that you've made and basically having to fit a new ship. So anything that obviously makes PvP a little bit more interesting, gives everybody a little bit more EHP, and makes the fights last slightly longer is definitely a good thing in my opinion. So the Oracle is getting a jump drive, which will help drag mining ships with it, which makes a lot of sense because basically now you've got a mining ship which can jump and take the industrial ships with it. instead of it jumping and then basically everybody having to slow boat to wherever the raw core jumped to get the bonuses. So makes a lot of sense, and I quite like that change. So one of the other updates is they are changing some of the graphics. You're having reflective explosions. You can see in this one that basically when something's exploded, it lights up the ship, where obviously at the moment it doesn't. And who doesn't like pretty explosions showing on their ship? So nice little change there. Hopefully my graphics card will be able to handle it. Pocos are changing, well, pretty dramatically actually. These are player-owned custom officers that you get in high sec, null sec, low sec, and wormholes. And basically this is where you get your PI stuff from. So you can see here that basically the effective EPH for a gantry is currently 10 million hit points, and it's being reduced substantially down to 500,000. And increasing the onlining delay. Our goal is to ensure fair play and conflict driver. I think that's quite a change. Again, CCP have the numbers, I guess, but I'm not sure that's good. That seems very, very low. But yeah, that's what they're changing it to, so that should be interesting to see how that plays out. I imagine a lot more of these things will be exploding, which may actually have the knock-on effect that people, it just isn't worth it in the end, because they're about, what, 125, 150, 170 mil? Can't recall offhand to buy. Obviously then you've got to put it up, and if it's only got 500,000, 10,000 was enough to put people off. You could AFK it. But obviously then you risk being blown up with 500,000 hit points. Get a few ships, you'll do that in 10 minutes tops. So yeah, interesting to see how this one plays out in the end. So a slight change to the new player experience here, but a significant update to the first hour of gameplay featuring mysterious mining adventures being added to the new player experience, yada yada yada. So trying to get people again more into the game when they first get here. Now, I don't know about anybody else in regards to mining. Now, mining is pretty lackluster. You get slightly different style or sizes, types of asteroid. So you get your standard, you're slightly better than standard, and your increased yield. I'd like to see some kind of more of a random element in it. For instance, that every so often in an asteroid that you could get, I don't know, a different type of mineral. So it would be, I don't know, Valdespar with some Noxium in it. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just that extra thing. So when you're mining, when you're NPCing, for instance, when you blow up a ship, it drops a bit of loot in its cargo, and you never quite know whether that's going to be absolute garbage or whether it's going to be a metaphor item that actually yields you a decent amount of ISK, an extra buff of 1 million, 2 million, and it's that fun factor, it's that unknown factor. And again, you could do that a little bit with asteroids, that you get your bog standard run of the mill, and every so often you just get an asteroid that's a bit special, that just gives you something else that you didn't expect. Just I don't know, I like the randomness, and whether trying to make mining, I won't say more interesting, but a little less plain, because the problem with mining, or NPCing as well, I guess, but you can map out, exactly how much you're going to make, because when you mine, nothing changes in regards to the asteroid. It's always the same, so you can map out per hour literally exactly how much you're going to make, and I find that kind of dull. It would be nice to have that randomness in there every now and then, that you get, as I say, a bit of a special asteroid that just yields something a little bit out of the ordinary. And I think lastly we've got compression, and compression has done a full 180 in the end. That initially we were going to see quite a lot of waste, it was going to take a lot of time. CCP have listened to the feedback and basically reversed that. It's not going to have any waste, and basically it'll almost be instant. I think you'll have to fit a module in order to be able to do this, and the Pocos, I think it is, can now do it as well. Yeah, compression becomes more of a social ability. Nearly all fleet members. This remote compression will be available at long ranges of over 200k possible, and frequently requested gas moons will become compressible by the new modules. The Pocos will be able to compress gas and asteroids, or, interesting, and both the Orca and the Rocker will be able to compress all resources. Compression will continue to be lossless. Capacity of jet cans will be doubled to make it easier for high volume miners and hulls to work together more efficiency, so that'll help. You're not having to jet can every couple of minutes depending on what ship you're in. So apparently we have a structures update on the way in regards to some changes. I will do a video specifically on stations and how I feel that CCP messed up horribly with citadels and the issues that I currently see with them. Look out for that coming shortly. And we also have changes to blueprints, I think it was. Where are we? And lastly, I guess we'll finish up on blueprint changes. As mentioned in the winter status update, we want faction ships, dreads and other capitals to be out in space wreaking havoc on the battlefield. Well orchestrated dread bombs or by other means. To that extent, blueprint requirements will be updated prior to FanFest. So by the sounds of that, capitals and faction ships should be getting somewhat cheaper to manufacture. So look forward to seeing what happens there, I guess. And so, as you'd expect, the speculators, wasn't me this time, straight on it. The rattlesnake has gone up quite substantially in price, pretty much to what it cost to actually build it, I think. A lot of these battleships were selling under their current build price. We've got the Baden, you can see here that's gone up quite substantially as well. People are expecting these to be decent, I imagine. And we've also got the Nightmare, which has gone up massively. So we were, what, 1.25 billion to 179 billion, 1.79 billion-isk. So yeah, speculators are already out and gathering their ships, so watch this space. But yeah, some very interesting changes there. I look forward to seeing how these play out, whether CCP, they've hit us hard, they're giving us some of it back with the strategical rebalance. Battleship's getting a bit of a buff. Yeah, it's good to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this shakes things up. So hope that was interesting, hope you enjoyed that. I'd love to hear your feedback in regards to the changes. How do you think it will affect everything? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for listening, thanks for your time. Subscribe if you haven't, drop a like, and I'll talk to you again soon.